I've got some really amazing news that I wanted to share with you, Cyberdogs, today. The ReNDoG got himself a girlfriend! That's right, everybody! I'm hooked up! I'm in love! Greetings, Cyberdogs and citizens of the interwebs! This is ReNDoG coming at you in another episode of Modded Minecraft from the HermitPack server. Oh man, it feels so good to be back here with you guys again. It's been a few days since I've been able to play on the server, and that's because the ReNDoG has been doing some healing. Unfortunately, about a week ago or so, my lower back got a blue screen of death, and I got diagnosed with something called sciatica. I know, it sounds kind of scary, sounds kind of dangerous, but don't worry guys, it's not too serious. Basically, it's damage to your lower back caused by, well, in this case, sitting in front of a computer for too many hours a day. The doctor recommended that I took some time off, and that's what I've been doing for the last week or so. One of those injuries that only heals if you let it heal, you know? If you carry on putting strain on the injury, it just never gets better. So been doing some physical therapy and some other pretty boring medical stuff to try sort my back out. But anyway, we're back, guys. I'm so freaking stoked, so excited. By the way, thanks to everybody who's been sending me all of the messages of goodwill and wishing me the best for my recovery and all of that jazz. You guys are absolutely amazing. Got so many tweets and comments about it. Oh man, love you guys so much. Anyway, I'm trying to remember where we left off last time because it's been a while, but oh yes, we were working on the Iskallium Reactor, weren't we? This is a giant reactor that turns Iskallium into calamari. Today we're going to be finishing this off. It's going to be freaking sweet. I've had to make some adjustments to it though, which I'll show you in a moment, but I've also been collecting a butt ton of alabaster off camera the last week or so. Every now and then just hopping on for half an hour or so collecting some alabaster, because today, my friends, we're going to be placing down some blocks. Oh man, it is going to be so epic. I've had a vision. I've had an epiphany, my friends, and I cannot wait to get it onto paper today. I want to start transforming Cyberdog City, and it is going to be absolutely amazing. But the first thing that we need to do, though, of course, is to start finishing off our Iskallium Reactor chamber. I'm here with my chisel and bits, laying down the blockage, something fierce, and I'm going to be making this chamber green. The color of the farms that we use here in the Cyber Labs. We've used green for our ingredient farm for our barbecue pulled pork burgers, and of course for our iron farm. And as this is a calamari generating machine of awesomeness, we're gonna have to use green over here too, right? So let me get some blocks down, let me get my brain back in action after a couple days off, and then we can start playing some Modded together, baby. I've got some really amazing news that I wanted to share with you, Cyberdogs, today. The ReNDoG got himself a girlfriend! That's right, everybody! I'm hooked up! I'm in love! Sorry, ladies, I'm no longer on the market, and that's because I have fallen for the most beautiful girl in the world. She's gorgeous, she's amazing, she's changed my life, and I can't be happier, man. Her name is Atomic, and her surname is Disassembler. We went on a date a couple of days ago, we went on an alabaster mining mission, and it was love at first sight, children, marriage, freaking white picket fence. I want it all, baby! This is the most amazing tool in this entire freaking mod pack, guys. Absolutely incredible. The Atomic Disassembler. We made this thing in the previous episode, but like any relationship, I didn't really understand my new date very much until I read the comments of my last video. Thank you to everybody who told me all about the Atomic Disassembler. This is basically the ultimate tool in Minecraft. It acts as every tool that you could ever imagine, but the downside is you need power to keep it charged. It uses up RF while you're using it, and there are a couple of ways that you guys told me about to keep my beautiful, beautiful wife charged up at all freaking times. Check it out. Firstly, I've made a quintuple battery from Actually Additions. The quintuple battery is, well, a little bit of a pain to make. To make it, you need to have a triple battery, which you make out of a double battery, which you make out of a single battery, and all of this stuff we have made already in the series. So not very difficult to make, just a little bit of a grind. But the cool thing about the quintuple battery is that it holds 16,000 RF. So once you charge this up in a capacitor, reactor and stick it in your inventory, it will charge up any item that you have that requires power. Now, it's a little bit of a pain to get this thing working. Actually, it took me a little bit of a while to figure it out. But if you hold down shift and right click, you can turn the battery on and off. You can see there it is now off. I'm going to turn it on again, and now it starts to glow. So this bad boy is charging up my atomic disassembler for as long as it has RF within itself. Now, there is another amazing block that you guys told me about that I have also crafted that I want to install right here in the Biohazard Burger Shack. This bad boy is known as a wireless charger. Now, what does a wireless charger do? Well, it pretty much does what it says on the tin. It charges wirelessly. And to make this thing, you need electrical steel and an ender resonator. Easy to make this. You just need an Enderman head and a slice and splice. We've made all of this stuff before, and this is a super cheap block to make. Now, what this thing does, if you connect it to your power grid, so I'm going to install it right here, connecting to our power grid, it will charge any item in your inventory that needs power wirelessly within a radius of 25 blocks. So as long as we are around that charger, we can have a look at our battery, which should now be completely charged up, and our atomic disassembler is now charged up too. So as long as your power input is full and your capacitor banks are full, you can keep your jazz charged up as long as you want. Now, I'm going to install a couple of these wireless chargers all over the Cyber Labs. I've already installed one at the first little position over there where we started in this room, which is pretty sweet. I wanted to install another one over here, I think. This will probably be a decent position too, so we could probably find a little spot down here. Yep, there's a nice little spot for a wireless charger. Oh wait, let's put it on the actual correct cable. There we go. Okay, so pretty much anywhere we go in the Cyber Labs now, we should have a fully charged atomic disassembler, and whenever I go off on adventure or go off mining, that quintuple battery is going to keep me completely and utterly fully charged at all times. Thank you all for telling me about those things. Absolutely amazing. I am in love, man. I am freaking in love. Now, we have got some work to do over here, guys. This Iskallium sludge pouring out of this pipe needs to get turned into freaking calamari, doesn't it? And I am here with a whole bunch of steel in my inventory. I've got my chisel too, and I want to see if we can get some interesting steel blocks. Now, to make steel is a little bit of a pain. You need metallurgic confusers and stuff, so it's been a little bit of a mission. However, it's going to be worth it because I've been getting a lot of flack from you Iskallians out there. You've been shouting at me for many, many episodes now. You've been telling me that, well, Iskallium is a very corrosive material. I thought that blocks of iron would be good enough to withstand the corrosion of Iskallium, but guess what? According to you Iskallians out there, it's steel that stops Iskallium from melting through stuff. So the first thing that we need to do over here is create some sort of a receiving chamber out of steel blocks. This steel block looks pretty cool, doesn't it? I like it. I like it. It looks very, very solid, I must say. Absolutely gorgeous, man. We need to, of course, create some sort of a receiver of the Iskallium juice that's coming out of this pipe. And I want to work a little bit now on this. And essentially what I'd like to do is inside of the Iskallium reactor chamber, I want to make it look like this Iskallium juice is pouring into the reactor and then reacting with the water, right? Because that's essentially what we're trying to achieve over here. So let's get all of these steel blocks down here. There we go. Iskallians, get off my back, okay? That freaking Iskallium juice is now properly contained. The biohazard has been dealt with. Now, let's get back into the Iskallium chamber. I've done a little bit more chiseling and bitsing. Looking pretty cool, right? This passageway is a little bit bland at the moment, but I don't know. I like it. And I've also been working in here a bit. This is looking sweet, right? Now, what we need to do, of course, is we need to change this reactor into steel. We need to make sure... Uh-oh, that's not good. Where did that glass block go? Oh my goodness, the water is lagging everything. This atomic disassembler doesn't mess around. Let me tell you guys, it is super powerful. There's the piece of glass. So let's do a little bit of repair work over here, shall we? Let's get rid of this little iron block over here and replace it with the... Oh, freak, I did it again. I'm such an idiot. Now we're cooking with steel, baby. Oh, man. This reactor is actually starting to look pretty decent, isn't it? I've got my derpage under control, everyone, and I've just got back from Miskal's base. I went over there to have a look at his block palette, to have a look at some of the blocks that he uses to build. I kind of want this reactor to look like it has come out of Area 85, you know? As it does have Iskallium in it, of course. We do want to try and get it as close to the Iskallium build as possible. And check at this, man, looking pretty cool. Found this really, really cool block that Iskall uses. It's called an old vents. It's a factory block. block. And to make this thing, you need to make yourself a factory block out of stone and iron, and then you chisel that bad boy into, well, into old vents. Now, there's a bunch of other really cool things that we can get out of this. Check this out. I was having a look at some of these fans, which I think look really cool. I like this one that sort of stops and starts, and I was thinking that maybe what we could do is add a couple of fans, like up here, right? I mean, this Iskallium is probably going to be getting really, really hot. Also, when the Iskallium and the water connect to each other, there are going to be some deadly fumes spewing forth out of this reactor, right? So probably best that we have some air vents over here to deal with that. And yeah, we probably shouldn't have all the fans doing the same thing. I think there's other variations of them. So let's like get some of the fast fans in, and we can probably replace one of these with this one. So that one's going to be constantly running. That one turns on and off. I think the majority of them should probably be constantly running, right? There we go. And a couple of them can have like a defect, like this one, right? So this one has like got a malfunction or something in it. Anyway, this is coming together really, really nicely. There's another thing that I did over here. I'm working on like a railing. This is all chiseled in bits over here. Looking pretty cool, right? So when you come to the reactor room, you won't be able to fall down there. I want to do something down there too, but I haven't quite figured out what I want to do down there. But anyway, let me get this reactor a-cooking, and we can come back together and have a look at it. Oh man, these fans, they are so freaking sweet. Now, the honest truth is, Cyberdogs, I don't think I could ever make this reactor look as amazing as a genuine Iskall 85 factory build. I have been doing my best to emulate the master of factory design, our Swedish potato. But yeah, this is about as good as I can do. I think it looks really cool, but I know that Iskall could probably do a way better job considering this is his style. Anyway, I like how his style and my style come together here. I think that looks pretty sweet. And the reactor is pretty much done. I want to add some detail into it though. So I've been back and forth to Iskall's base to try and find some ideas. Some of the little things that he does to bring his builds to life. And well, the good news is that he uses a lot of these things, and these things are absolutely gorgeous, aren't they, for a factory build? Oh man, I love them. Iskall placed these in our base about a month ago or so when he pranked us, and well, I'm a big fan of recycling, and I'm going to be recycling these things to add to our reactor. Let's pick up a couple of these things and see what we can do with them. I think they're going to fit in absolutely beautifully. These things are called fluid pipes, I think. Let's have a look how you actually make these things. Are they expensive? Probably not. Oh, okay, so you need iron plates and stuff. Okay, well, Iskall gave us a bunch of them or left them in the base, and we're going to recycle them right now, so we don't have to make our own fluid pipes. But yeah, the reactor itself is looking a little bit flat for me at the moment. I kind of want to try and get something interesting going. And I suppose with these fluid pipes, what we could do is something like this, right? So we could add like a pipe that goes all the way up like this, all the way up into the surface of, or into the bottom and the top. I think that looks cool. I don't know how I can get it to connect to this block though. I think I probably have to do a little bit of research. Is there any other sort of pipe that we could add? What happens if we break this one and then add this holding shift to the top? Okay, there we go. Oh no, that didn't actually do anything. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to need to figure out how this works. I suppose what we could do is be a little bit sneaky. So we could like add the block back there and try and connect. Okay, so the freaking factory block doesn't actually connect properly. That's a little bit annoying, but maybe we could take it all the way up to the top and maybe we won't actually see that happening. But yeah, I think I'll probably mess around with these to see if we can get it looking a little bit better. I think it looks pretty cool though, right? These little pipes, I think this is exactly what our reactor needs. Every now and then we'll add a little bit of pipage. Check it out. We can even go around the corner like that, just like that, right? And maybe this comes down like this. I don't know, something like that. I just need to figure out how to get these fluid pipes to connect to the solid blocks. And then we're golden. Turns out these stupid fluid pipes don't actually have a connector block, guys, so I had to do something a little bit different. Instead, what I've done is I've pushed the pipe into this section of the reactor, and that looks kind of cool. You can see the pipes coming out of this sort of machinery, and I've done the same down there. I think that looks pretty awesome. I'm currently trying to get the Iskallium into the reactor. I've picked up a whole bunch of Iskallium from around the Cyber Labs for this, and I'm experimenting with some different glasses. I found a chiseled glass called steel-framed glass, glass, which is absolutely perfect, right? Check it out. It's this one over here, steel framed. Steel is, of course, the material that we need to be able to hold Iskallium. So it makes sense to make all of the glass out of the steel framed glass. So, oops, that's the wrong chisel, ReNDoG, you idiot. Where's my other chisel? Oh, there it is. It's in position 3. Yeah, the brain is starting to give up a little bit. I think it might be time for me to take a break, but I'm having so much fun doing this, guys. Just want to keep on going. Anyway, let's create a positive chisel design of this, and then let's start placing this glass over here, over the Iskallium. Let's see what this is going to look like. I don't think the steel frame glass actually connects, so it's going to create a little bit of a grid pattern, but I think that's going to be okay. I just want to get this done to have a look at what it might look like. What I'd like to do eventually is to use chisel and bits to make the Iskallium look like it's oozing down the glass, but that's going to be the next step for this build. Actually, that looks pretty freaking awesome, doesn't it? I actually really like that, and I love the fact that we're getting a little bit more depth here too with this little glass pane. It's kind of breaking up the flatness of the reactor. Yeah, this thing's coming together now, baby. I've been running around this reactor now for a couple of minutes, and I gotta say, guys, I'm actually really pleased with how it's turning out. I was a bit worried about it, if I'm honest with you. I thought that it was going to contrast a little bit too heavily with our very clean design palette that we're working with. Also, I haven't worked with these kind of blocks before. You know, this is an Iskall 85 copyrighted style over here. And I've literally just been trying to copy Iskall's style. I think I've done a pretty good job. I mean, it's looking awesome. I've also turned the reactor on so we can see the squiddage dropping down through the Iskallium reactor as that Iskallium and the water mixes. These squids are mutated and they're going to be dropping down through the reactor, and then they are collected and sent over to our culinary generators for power. But I think it's turning out real good. I love this railing too. A little bit of chiseling and bitsing going on over here. Pretty small chisel and bits project, but it's these kind of details that bring a build like this to life for me. I'm loving it, man. Still a little bit of work to do, though. I've been working on this for quite a long time now, though, so I think I want to take a bit of a break and move on to something else for today's episode. I think I mentioned earlier on in this episode that I went on a date with my new girlfriend, Atomic, and we got for ourselves a ton of obsidian. And I thought what we could do together today is start setting up some foundational designs for the buildings of Cyberdog City. We have been slowly transforming this village into a modern space-age city, and today I'd like to sort of get the buildings up, so to speak, but literally just sort of create the scaffoldings for them, have different heights and different sort of shapes of the buildings, just to give myself an idea of what the city might look like. And next episode I'd like to start working on the roads. I have a really, really cool idea to make the roads look absolutely freaking awesome and futuristic and stuff. So yeah, that's what I want to crack on for the rest of this episode. But before I do that, there's one more thing that I need to do, and that is to finish off the Iskallium juice containment section over here. I've got a few more factory blocks left in my inventory and a few more steel blocks left in storage. So let's get that done, and then we can start throwing up some freaking skyscrapers. Iskallium juice has now been successfully contained, my friends. Don't worry, you can take off your biohazard suits. The Cyberdog City is safe once again. The Iskallium juice is being contained by a whole bunch of steel blocks over here. All of those deadly fumes are being sucked out by these fans, and the whole thing is being kept cool by these fans also. And that juice is, of course, going straight down into the reactor and being processed into squiddage. So that is freaking awesome, man. Loving that. Anyway, I've been working on this project for a very, very long time today, and I want to do something a little bit different with you guys for the last part of today's episode. Already started a little bit on this side. As you can see, I've started the foundational structures of a building, and I want to try and do that for all of these different foundations that we have here in the Cyberdog City. And that is going to give us a really cool idea for what the city might look like in the future. I think that this city is probably going to be very chiseled and bitsy. We should probably call it Chisel and Bits Metropolis or something. I think most of the city will probably have a very similar style to our Obversion Obelisk over there. And it's going to look absolutely freaking amazing. I want to make these buildings really, really high. I want to make them look like skyscrapers, make them feel like this is like a really modern, futuristic city from freaking Star Wars or something. That's the plan anyway. And And yeah, let's throw down some foundations. Guys, I want to tell you a pretty funny story that happened to me a couple of days ago. I think I mentioned at the beginning of this episode that I've been having some back troubles over the last couple of weeks. Got diagnosed with sciatica and went into the doctor for an appointment so that he could check out what was going on with my back. And I went to see my GP, and then he recommended that I go and see, I think it's a chiropractor. Is that the name of the specialist that deals with back and muscles and stuff? I think it's a chiropractor. Anyway, I went to see the specialist chiropractor guy, and it turns out that this dude is from the same country that I am from. I'm from a country called South Africa, for those of you guys who don't know. All the way at the very end of the African continent is my motherland. I left South Africa about 10 years ago or so to live in England, but I wasn't the only one who left South Africa. In fact, due to my country's history and some other factors, a lot of people have left South Africa and have immigrated from South Africa to England. In fact, I think that the statistics at the moment are something like 500,000 South Africans living in London alone. I think that's the last number that I saw, demographically speaking. So it's pretty crazy. Quite a lot of us actually left about 10 years ago or so. Basically trying to find a better life, wanting to move to the first world, wanting to be able to do amazing stuff like I'm doing right now, playing Minecraft and making videos that people watch from all over the freaking world, man. It's one of the reasons why I left my country. Anywho, this chiropractor, he was from South Africa, and the moment that I met him, I could pick up on his accent, and I said to him, "Oh man, are you from South Africa?" And he said, "Yeah man, I'm from South Africa, I'm from Durban." And you know, when South Africans meet each other, as I suppose is probably the same for most people in the world, when you immigrate and you meet someone from your country, you kind of have this like instant bond, you know? It's actually a very weird experience, because I was actually thinking about this the other day, because in South Africa, like when you're living in the country that you've immigrated from, there's people that you can't stand, right? That you don't want to be friends with, or that annoy you, or that irritate you. And it's so funny, because if you were to meet that same person that annoyed you in your own country, in another country that you both immigrated to, you would just become best mates, like instantly, just because you shared some sort of a common bond together. You know, you both had left your country, you both had immigrated. Anyway, I picked up on his accent, and I heard that he was South African, and I was super excited because, well, where I live, which is in the middle of nowhere in England, there are definitely no South Africans out here. Absolutely none. I am like an alien out here, man. I'm very, very foreign out here where I live, but that's okay. I kind of like it that way. I like meeting people from other parts of the world and other cultures, although out here it's mostly just British people, which is awesome though. I love the Brits. Anyway, I was super excited to find out that he was South African, and we started chatting as you do, you know, talking about what schools we went to and, you know, where we lived and, you know, do you remember when this happened? Do you remember when Mandela was released from prison? You know, all those sort of things that South Africans talk about, we started talking about, and we got onto the topic of university, and I told him what university I went to. And he suddenly said to me, he suddenly asked me, and you know, this is the kind of question that people ask all the time. And for the sake of the story, I'm going to call the guy Jeremy. He said to me, "Do you know Jeremy?" And I said, "Jeremy? Yes, I know a Jeremy. Is it Jeremy XYZ?" And he said, "Yes, do you know Jeremy?" And we suddenly realized that we knew the same person from my university. Turns out that this particular chiropractor worked on Jeremy's back for a very similar injury many years ago at my university when I was studying there. And it's so funny because I actually distinctly remember that day. I don't remember the doctor specifically. He was probably at the hospital. But I remember the day when Jeremy got injured. We were playing a game called touch rugby, which is a game that we like to play in South Africa. It's kind of like American football, I suppose, but it's a non-contact version of the sport. We also play a game called rugby in South Africa, which is a full contact sport, a little bit like American football. But touch rugby is a no-contact version of those sports. So if your opponent touches you, you have to drop the ball and hand it over to the other team. Anyway, we were playing touch rugby at my university one afternoon, and I was playing with Jeremy, and he got injured in that game. His lower back got injured in a tackle, and it was from that injury that this doctor, or this chiropractor that looked after me, a couple of days ago. It was that very injury that this doctor attended to many, many years ago back in South Africa. And lo and behold, this chiropractor was the doctor in the hospital that I went to close to my town. I mean, what are the chances of that happening, right? I tell you what, it is a freaking small world sometimes, isn't it? I've had a horrible feeling, everyone, that I might have bitten off a bit more than I can chew with this city design. Jeez, look how massive these buildings are. Oh man, as soon as I started making the buildings, I was trying to make the next one higher than the next one, and unfortunately what that has resulted in is a bunch of absolutely massive skyscrapers. I think that if we can get this done, though, it is going to be unbelievably awesome. I mean, come down to the ground level, right? Imagine us walking through Cyberdog City. Look at these skyscrapers. It's like freaking New York up in here, man. This is so cool. I think I want to have a go at this. I know it looks absolutely crazy and it looks like it's going to be an insane amount of work, but we got builders wands and we got easy access to resources. It shouldn't be too difficult. I mean, imagine we can extend this design all the way across the cityscape and get this entire place looking like a massive freaking capital city. Isn't that going to look absolutely amazing? Well, that's just about going to do it from me here on the streets of Cyberdog City, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed the episode. I had an absolute blast today. Been playing modded since the early hours and had such an amazing time. Can't wait to finish off this city. It is going to be so freaking sweet. Listen, if you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to hit the like button, okay? It's super important. It shows me that you guys are loving the series. It inspires me to make more videos for you guys. It tells YouTube that ReNDoG's doing a good job, and what that means is that YouTube will share my videos with more people and we can grow the Cyberdog Nation together. Absolutely amazing. Also, guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, remember to hit the subscribe button so that you can keep up with this series and you can watch this city behind us take shape. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Thank you guys for watching, man. ReNDoG signing out, and we will smell you all in the next episode.